This morning, the Senate Democrats spoke up about the Republicans' plans to cut Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And I believe one of the most articulate of the people who spoke was Senator Bernie Sanders. Afterwards, in fact, Chuck Schumer patted him on the back and said, "Thanks, buddy." And he's become Chuck Schumer's best friend. But I pointed this out to you. I think it was 2 years ago, maybe just a year ago, when Chuck Schumer gave a speech here in Washington, D.C. at the National Press Club, and he laid out all these progressive principles. It was like Chuck Schumer, the New York Democrat, I almost called him the New York Democrat, who one of the most powerful men in the Senate, the most powerful Democrat in the Senate, starting not to talk like the classic kind of corporate Democrat, but instead talking like a progressive Democrat, like a FDR Democrat, like an LBJ Democrat, and we played clips from that. And I said, watch this space. Everybody thinks Chuck Schumer is just, go along, get along. He's the center of power in Washington, D.C. He's a fundraising machine for the Democrats in the Senate. That's what he does. That's what he's all about. That is, some of that perception may be accurate, but Chuck Schumer has been, over the last 2 years, in front of our very eyes, morphing himself into a genuine progressive. And I think we saw more evidence of that this morning. Anyhow, here's what Bernie said when Chuck Schumer asked him to come up to the mic and speak.
Not a whole lot that I can add to what the previous speakers have said, but let me quote somebody who I suspect I will not often be quoting. On May 7th, 2015, Donald Trump tweeted, quote, "I was the first and only potential GOP candidate to state there will be no cuts to Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid." Now, the point is, Trump didn't just say this in passing. He didn't say it in the middle of the night. He didn't say it in a particular interview. This was a cornerstone of his campaign. He said it over and over and over again. Donald Trump said he will not cut Social Security, he will not cut Medicare, he will not cut Medicaid. Therefore, one of two things are true. Either Donald Trump simply lied to the elderly and the working people of this country and just made campaign promises that he had no intention of ever keeping. That is one reality. Or there is another reality, and that is right now, before Congress wastes an enormous amount of time, Donald Trump has got to come forward, maybe through one of his tweets, and say clearly that Donald Trump will veto any legislation that cuts Medicare, that cuts Medicaid, or that cuts Social Security. And if he makes that clear to his Republican colleagues, we can save us all a whole lot of time and start getting to work doing what this country desperately needs to have done.
Good job, Bernie.
Thank you. Absolutely brilliant. And he's absolutely right. I've been saying this for a long, long time. In fact, I remember being on the air during the primaries when Trump said, that over and over again. Last week, we played you 5 different clips of Trump on the campaign stump saying, "I will not cut Social Security, Medicaid, or Medicare." Not going to happen. Ain't going to happen. Donald Trump is not going to allow it. And a lot of people voted for him based on that belief. But as we speak, Republicans in Congress are preparing to cut Social Security. They want to raise the eligibility age. They want to change the way the cost of living adjustments, are calculated, and they want to change the tax formula for taxes paid on Social Security, among other things. They're preparing to voucherize Medicare. This is, quite literally the Paul Ryan throwing grandma off the cliff ad from 2011. That ad, by the way, there's a link to it up at hartmannreport.com. But it's the original ad. It's the 2011 ad. I mean, it should be reprised. This is what they're about to do. And of course, anything that has to do with Medicaid, they want to block grant this so that individual states can just cut off people. So Bernie Sanders is right. Either Donald Trump lied cravenly and repeatedly to win the Republican nomination, which I kept saying, hey, this guy's running as a Democrat. Of course people are going to vote for him. They like the Democratic policies. They don't like Republican policies. Either he lied to his base in order to get elected, or he's going to be at war with his own party, in which case they may even try to impeach him, say, over the emoluments clause, and put in Mike Pence, because Mike Pence is enthusiastic about cutting Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And, I mean, he's just a classic Republican. So we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be a real interesting next few weeks here.